everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for an episode of STEAM Time. Today we are going to be talking about our pulse. So some of you might know what your pulse is already, and it's something that probably a lot of you have already felt, and that is sometimes when you put your fingers up to your neck right here, just below your jawline, you can feel your heart beating. Or if you put it on your wrist, you can feel your heart beating. And of course, we all know that our hearts are here in our chest. So why is it that we can feel our heart beating here in our neck or here in our wrists? Well, I am going to tell you today. So when you feel your pulse, what you're feeling is actually your heart pumping blood through your body. So every time that your heart beats, it's pumping blood around your body to help your body exist and move throughout the day. So each pump releases blood, pushes it through your arteries and through your veins to travel throughout your body to keep your blood circulating. And what you're feeling when you feel your pulse is that rush of blood as it moves throughout your veins and your arteries. So each time you feel a beat in your pulse, that's the beat of your heart pushing that blood out through your body. So that's something really cool to think about, is that your heart is such a hard working muscle, which is why it's important to stay healthy and keep your heart healthy so that it can pump the blood through your body as easily as possible. One cool fact that I learned while doing research for this video is that the average kid has 200 million feet of blood vessels throughout their body. So if you were to take all your blood vessels out and line them up, you'd have about 200 million feet. And for reference, let me grab my ruler. So this is a ruler, it's 12 inches or 1 foot. So imagine 200 million of these lined up for all your different blood vessels going through your body. That's something really interesting to remember when we think about our bodies, is that there's a lot housed inside of here. There's a lot packed into our small little frames. For adults, that goes up to 500 million blood vessels. So that's a lot going on, which again is another reason why we want to make sure that we're staying healthy and keeping our heart healthy so that it can do its job as easily as possible. So a cool experiment that you can do at home, there's 2 versions of this. One's very simple, and the other one is pretty simple. It's just one step up, is we're going to talk about how to take your pulse. So like I said, there's 2 ways that you can find your pulse that a lot of people reference. One is taking 2 fingers, your index finger and your middle finger, and putting them here on your wrist, and you can feel your pulse through there. It's not as easy for me to feel my pulse through there, and I don't really like touching my wrist. It makes me feel weird for some reason. So if I'm taking my pulse, I would put my 2 fingers right here. You can see it's just, here's my jawbone. So find your jawbone and just go a little bit below. And if you sit quietly and do some deep breathing, I can't feel it right now because since I'm talking, that vibration is going through my neck. But if I'm quiet for a second, I can feel it beating into my fingers. So one cool experiment that you can do is if you have a stopwatch or just by looking at the clock, you can count how many times you feel that pulse or that beat in a minute. And that is your heart rate, your beats per minute. Some people have a fitness counter, like I have my Fitbit, and that shows me my beats per minute. And so you can count how many times you feel it beating in a minute. You can also do it for 30 seconds and times that by 2 to get your 1 minute beats per minute. Another way that I saw that you can look at your pulse is get some Play-Doh or some clay. So a little glob here and a toothpick. And this doesn't film very well, so that's why I'm just kind of describing it to you. And you can put it on your wrist with the toothpick in, and the toothpick will move for each pulse. The rhythm of your pulse will go up through the clay and into the toothpick, and you can see that moving, and you can count your pulse that way if you don't want to feel it. Like I said, I get a little weird about touching my wrist, so that's a way that you can look at your wrist pulse without actually having to touch it yourself. If you want to take this experiment one step further, you can get a piece of paper or notebook, and you can compare your pulse after you've done some exercises. So do your pulse when you're sitting and just calm and regular breathing, and then get up and do 10 jumping jacks, and then take your pulse, and then maybe get up and run in place for 30 seconds, and then take your pulse. And you can see how your pulse changes depending on the exercise you're doing. And I'll give you a second to think about why you think it might change. You can write down your hypothesis. Do you think that it's going to be slower or faster after you've done some exercise? It's a good thing to write about in your notebook, and you can do your hypothesis, like I said, which is what you think is going to happen in your experiment, and see if your hypothesis was correct. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen because I want you to do the experiment and find it out for yourself. And you can also do it with other members of your household, and you guys can compare your pulse and your beats per minute. So that's all fun ways to look at pulse. I hope that you enjoyed this video. For more videos, you can check out our Steam Time playlist on our YouTube channel, and we've got all sorts of other stuff going on there as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.